So, students going to college in South Korea, as well as the number of foreigners going to work in South Korea, has increased quite a bit during recent years. And while I'll probably talk about the influence causing the wave of Korean love in a future video, today I'll be talking about something a little less in-depth. Obviously, in order to go to college or work in South Korea, you must know the language. Therefore, Korean has become much more popular as a second language to be learned in recent years. I am by no means an exception to this trend. And while there are plenty of videos out there about how to have an easier time studying Korean, this isn't that. I'm really just a beginner in learning this language, and I don't think I have enough experience to give any hard and fast advice on what you should do to learn the language. However, I have found a few interesting things while learning said language, so with that being said, here are some interesting observations I've made while learning Korean. First off, learning Hangul is much easier than I expected. Unlike the English alphabet that has 26 letters, Hangul only has 24. True, that's only a 2-letter difference, but at least half the syllables in Hangul are just a small adjustment to the basic syllables. For example, and ya. They're 2 different syllables, but it's so easy to remember them both. It's just a difference of 1 single line. And it's like that with many of the other syllables too, even going as far as to just smushing 2 syllables together to make another sound. In general, the entire alphabet system is very logical and easy to follow. It took me only 2 weeks to learn it, in fact. But I don't think I can say the same for English, which you need to fully commit to memory every single different sound of the alphabet. All in all, Hangul is definitely easier to learn in a shorter amount of time than the English alphabet is. My second observation is that not every K-drama is as useful when trying to practice understanding Korean. So obviously, people use Korean television to help immerse themselves in learning the Korean language. So far, I've only watched 2 K-dramas, or 1.5 since I haven't even finished the second one. The first one that I did finish was Cinderella and the Four Knights, and the one that I'm currently watching is The Bride of Quebec. But the thing that I noticed between these 2 K-dramas was that when watching Cinderella and the Four Knights, it seemed like they spoke a little slower. I caught a lot more of the words and phrases when I was watching that versus The Bride of Quebec. In a way, it makes sense, since Bride of Quebec is much more fast-paced than Cinderella and the Four Knights, but I don't know if this is across the board. It still just seemed a little odd that 2 shows originating from the same language could be so different in helping you trying to learn said language. Next up, I realized that I've actually started to replace certain English words with their Korean counterparts in my head, especially with words like 안녕하세요 and ne or 안녕. I say these words in my head all the time. And at this point, it's not really something I'm doing on purpose, I'm just doing it because I hear the words all the time. Between listening to K-pop and watching K-dramas, it's a wonder I haven't accidentally said any of these words out loud yet. My fourth observation is that I always feel compelled to pronounce stuff out loud whenever I'm actually sitting down and doing a Korean lesson. I know that I just said that I do stuff in my head a lot, but when I'm actually learning, I do find that I learn better when it's said out loud versus when I say it in my head. I don't know what the thing is, maybe it's just a weird reality check of, yeah, you actually stink at Korean pronunciation or what, but yeah, that's something that I do. I say it out loud and not in my head whenever I'm learning. Sounds weird when my mother's walking past and she hears me saying strange words, but hey, what are you gonna do, right? My last observation is a little bit more of a recommendation than an observation, and I know that I said in the beginning of this video that I wouldn't make any recommendations, and so you really do not have to use this. But Busu, Drops, and Corsa First Step to Korean are the best resources that I've used so far while learning Korean. Busu is like Duolingo, teaching you lessons on basic vocabulary and grammar rules. However, I found it's a little better at the words and phrases it teaches you since they're more pertinent to actual conversation than what Duolingo uses. Plus, also their premium plan lets you review vocab words, which is really helpful to ingrain what you're learning. Drops is another great tool that I like to use on the go to help me review vocab words. It can be used on your laptop or computer, but it's mostly designed to be an app on your phone. So if I'm out and I want to review some Korean while I'm randomly waiting around, I just use Drops. Lastly, Corsa First Step Korean was what I used to learn Hangul. This was before I discovered Busu, so you can use Busu as well. They have their own little mini course on Hangul itself, but this course is just as useful and it doesn't cost a cent. And that's all I have for you today. Just a few observations I've made about myself and the content I consume while studying Korean. I know it's not anything mind-blowing, but at the very least I hope this video was entertaining for you. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye!